Okay, let's dive right in. The Book of Proverbs, it's this incredible treasure chest of wisdom, right? But let's be honest, opening it up can sometimes feel like trying to make sense of 1,000 random fortune cookie sayings all jumbled together. So, how do we actually unlock it? Well, we're going to use a classic guide to turn that jumble of sayings into a clear, usable roadmap for living wisely.
The 19th century writer Charles Bridges had this absolutely beautiful way of describing Proverbs. He called them apples of gold in settings of silver. Just think about that image for a second. He's saying they're not just wise, they're valuable, they're beautiful, they're crafted to be powerful. They're literally designed to stick with you.
And for Bridges, Proverbs isn't just a book of good ideas. Nope, he called it a mind of divine wisdom. What he meant was that it's a complete, perfectly suited guide for practical religion and godly living. This isn't just philosophy, it's a manual for your actual life.
And that's the big question, isn't it? You open the book and you're just hit with this flood of short, punchy statements that can feel so disconnected, maybe even a little cryptic. It's so easy to get lost if you don't have a map.
And that is exactly what Charles Bridges gives us, a map. He lays out the simple, super clear structure that makes the entire book click into place. It turns what feels like chaos into a logical, organized journey.
So, how's this map work? It's pretty straightforward. Bridges breaks the book down into 3 distinct parts. First up, you've got chapters 1 through 9. This section is for the young. It uses all this rich poetry and these vivid stories to really capture the imagination. Then you hit chapter 10, and the whole style shifts. Chapters 10 to 24 are for adults. They're packed with these short, practical rules for business and just, daily life. And finally, the last section? That's a collection of later writings put together centuries after Solomon. See? Not so random after all.
Okay, so once you see the structure, you start to see the book's central theme really pop. Bridges argues that at its very heart, Proverbs is presenting us with a dramatic choice. A choice between 2 totally different ways of living.
And this contrast, this is the core conflict of the entire book. It's constantly pitting these 2 paths against each other. On one hand, you have the path of the righteous. It's described as a brightening dawn, a tree of life that leads to safety. And the way of the wicked? Well, that's darkness, a path that leads to ruin and total destruction. The choice really couldn't be more stark.
All right, so we've got the map and we understand the central theme. But how do we actually engage with this stuff ourselves? How do we find that gold? Bridges gives some incredibly practical advice on how to read it for real personal benefit.
To find this treasure, Bridges says we have to adopt the mindset of a miner. The real riches aren't just sitting there on the surface, waiting for you to casually pick them up. You have to be willing to dig.
And here's his method for digging. It's a simple 3-step process. First, he says, begin with prayer. Ask for understanding before you even start. Second, search diligently. Don't just skim the words. Really meditate on them, dig into their meaning. And third, compare Scripture with Scripture. Use other parts of the Bible to shed light on what you're reading. It's such a powerful way to let the text interpret itself.
And now we get to the foundation of it all. According to Bridges, there is one single principle that underpins every single proverb in the entire book. It's the starting point for absolutely everything.
This is it. This one verse is the master key to the whole thing. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Without this, none of the other wisdom in the book can really be understood or applied. It's the non-negotiable first step.
But hold on, what does fear of the Lord actually mean? Because that word fear can throw us off, right? Bridges clarifies this perfectly. He says it's not about being terrified. He defines it as a loving reverence, a humble desire to please God that comes from a deep respect for His love and His authority. It's the posture of a loving child toward a wise and caring father.
And once that foundation is in place, you start to see just how incredibly far-reaching this wisdom is. I mean, it gives guidance for kings on their thrones, and it offers comfort to the poor in their struggles. It's got rules for self-control, your tongue, your eyes, your hands. It lays out principles for family life. It even gets into the small courtesies of our daily interactions. It literally touches everything.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Proverbs isn't some abstract philosophy meant to be debated in a classroom. When you have the map and you have the key, this ancient book becomes an intensely practical, deeply relevant guide for navigating both the tiny details and the biggest challenges of modern life.
So that leaves us with a final thought. We are just bombarded with advice from every direction, right? From experts, from influencers, from algorithms that think they know us. In the middle of all that noise, it's worth asking ourselves, what timeless wisdom, what true north
is actually guiding my path?